Creating subtitles for an entire video in DaVinci Resolve, especially in the free version, can be frustrating. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to make your life a whole lot easier when working with captions in DaVinci Resolve. Let's bounce into DaVinci. Alright guys, so over here on my timeline in DaVinci Resolve Studio 19, I have one clip on here that I want to generate subtitles for. Now, because I'm in the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, I can go over to Timeline and then click on Create Subtitles from Audio, and I'm going to have the ability to generate automatic subtitles from audio. But this is a studio version feature, and that's why I'm going to show you the easiest method that works regardless of whatever DaVinci Resolve version you're on. And that is a completely free and one-click setup plugin called AutoSubs by Tom Maroney. It's so easy to set up. All you got to do is click on this download button right here to download that into your computer, and then launch the installer that you downloaded, and it's going to go ahead and install AutoSubs and add that to DaVinci Resolve without doing anything else. Just make sure you close DaVinci Resolve before you install the plugin, just to be safe. Now, once that's installed, go ahead and open up DaVinci Resolve. Like I said, it doesn't matter which version. Just go over to Workspace at the top and then down to Scripts, and now you're going to see AutoSub right here. Now, before we actually generate the subtitles inside DaVinci, we're just going to do one thing, which is create a text plus template inside DaVinci Resolve, because we want to be able to select that template right here using the AutoSub plugin. And that's going to control what the subtitles would actually look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and close AutoSubs, and then I'm going to go up here to Effects, and then down to Titles, and then I'm going to drag a text plus title and put it on my timeline. Now I'm going to click on my text plus title and go to the inspector tab at the top right, just so I can control the actual looks of my title. First thing I'm going to do is go over to settings, and then under position, I'm going to move it down a little bit because this is a subtitle. Then I'm going to change the font to Montserrat. So I'm just going to go ahead and type Montserrat. Now it's taking me to the M's. Now I'm just going to find Montserrat right here. I'm going to click on it and then change it to black italic. So this is how I want my subtitle to look. And then to make it a little bit more obvious, I'm just going to change the color over to blue. And let's just assume this is how I want my subtitles to look. So you can go ahead and stylize your captions exactly how you want, but this is how I want my captions to be. So I'm going to drag the text plus title over here to the media pool and leave it. And then we're going to have it as a template over here. So I can just go ahead and delete the one on my timeline. I can click twice on the name to change the name. And I'm just going to go ahead and change the name to my text plus presets. So now that I've changed the name, I can go over to AutoSub. So I'm going to go over to Workspace and then Scripts, and then open up AutoSub. And then I can go under Subtitle Template and select my text plus preset that we created just now. You can adjust everything to your liking, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on Start Process to generate those subtitles. Behind the scenes is going to export out my audio and use that to generate the subtitles, but we don't need to worry about any of that because all of that is done without doing anything. Now, once AutoSub is done actually generating the subtitles, you pretty much don't need to do anything. You can just close the AutoSub panel and come back to DaVinci Resolve. And now you can see in DaVinci Resolve, we have our subtitles right here, and these are text plus subtitles. Now, if you want to change the property or animate this subtitle, what you can do is click on one of the text plus titles and go over to the settings menu. So this is title and this is settings. So go over to settings, and now you can go ahead and adjust it how you want. So say I want to reduce the zoom right here and move it a little bit down. You can totally do that. You can also animate it right here. So if I go over to the beginning, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, go a few frames forward and place a keyframe on the zoom. And then I'm going to go to the beginning of this text plus graphic. And then I'm going to reduce the zoom value to 0 so it can actually scale up. And that's the animation that I'm going for. Now that I've done this, if I click on this little keyframe icon right here, we can see our keyframes. If I click on the graph icon right here, we can see our graph as well. So I'm just going to disable the keyframes so we can have more space right here. So now I can select the keyframes and make it a little bit more smooth by clicking on this Bezier handle right here. And now we can see it's a little bit more smooth. So now I'm just going to give this a play. If you think more, so as you can see, we've animated one of this text plus title. Now, if we want to apply that animation to the other titles that we have on our timeline, all we got to do is right click on this first title, go ahead and click copy, and then select the rest text plus titles, right click on them and go to paste attributes. The main attribute that we actually need right here is the zoom property because that is what we animated. So I just click on the zoom property and then I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Now, if I give this a play, motion blur in Adobe After Effects is just about turning on a switch you can see we have an animation for all the titles. And like I said, this absolutely works in both the free version and the paid version of DaVinci Resolve. Now I'm going to go ahead and select all this text plus title and then delete them so I can show you how to work with the built-in AutoSub feature in DaVinci Resolve Studio. So we're back again with one clip on our timeline, and I'm just going to go ahead to timeline and then click on create subtitles from audio. Of course, you can adjust this how you want. I'm just going to go with 8 character per line of 15 just for this example, and then I'm going to go ahead and click create. Now, DaVinci Resolve has used the audio to generate the subtitles for us, but this is an actual subtitle. So this is on a subtitle track, not a video track. Now, as of DaVinci Resolve Studio 19, you can't really animate these subtitles because they are subtitles. They basically just show up. But starting from DaVinci Resolve 20, which at the moment is in beta, you do have the ability to animate subtitles and have a bunch of animation options that go with it, like having DaVinci highlight the particular word that they're saying at the moment. And of course, this will get easier and more powerful in future updates. But as of the time of this recording, this version is in beta. So now that we have our subtitles in our subtitle track, what we can do is just go over to the Inspector tab and then go over to Track. And now we can change what the subtitle looks like for the entire track, which is all these subtitles on this subtitle track right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this color for this one. And then I'm going to make the font Montserrat by actually just typing out Montserrat. I'm going to change it over to bold italic. And then I'm going to go over to stroke and make that a 0 size stroke. So we don't want any stroke going on here. I'm going to increase the size a little bit. And then I'm going to scroll down to transform and just move it down just a little bit. And if I scrub my mouse over on the timeline, you can see that that applied to everything on that track because we adjusted that track. But if we wanted to adjust a specific caption, we can just go ahead, click on that caption, click on customize caption, and now we have the ability to customize this particular caption. So I can just change the color right here. And now you can see that that changed the caption just for this particular one that we chose to customize. So I'm just going to uncheck customize and allow the track property to go for everything. Now, when it comes to subtitle tracks, you can only have one subtitle track active at one time. So if I duplicate this over here, you can see it automatically disabled. And if I choose to enable it, it will automatically disable the one at the bottom. So if you have a situation where you want to have subtitles in 2 languages appear at the same time, what you can do is right click on one of these subtitles and add a subtitle region. So if I click on add subtitle region right here, we can have another subtitle inside the same subtitle 1 track. So now if I duplicate this, we can see that we still have another subtitle right here. And this subtitle is not disabled because it's in the same subtitle track, but just a different subtitle region within the same track. So I can go over to track and then customize this subtitle as well and go ahead and adjust the position as well. And this will just be the property for that subtitle region. So if I go over to a different part on my timeline and I duplicate another subtitle and put it in the same region, we can see that it automatically takes the properties of that subtitle region. So this is a really cool way to have multiple language subtitles showing at the same time. If you want to delete the subtitle region, you can just go ahead and right click on one of the subtitles, go to delete subtitle region, and then we're going to go ahead and delete the region that we see right here. And now it's basically taken that region away and we have our base subtitle track right here. Now, if you do not want to animate the subtitle and you just want to export this video out with subtitles, what you want to make sure you do is in the deliver page, we want to go over to subtitle settings. Right now we have the render settings set to audio only, but that's just because of AutoSub. What I'm going to do is go back to H.264 master. Now I'm going to go back to the subtitle settings and check export subtitles. And now we want to make sure that we select burn into video. So this is going to make the subtitle file render out with the video. All right, guys, if you're enjoying the video so far and you really want to master video editing as quickly as possible, go ahead and check out VP Plus Academy. This is the best value for money editing school and community that you're going to find out there. It has everything you need to take you from knowing absolutely nothing about video editing to becoming a master in the craft. There are live calls every week to give you feedback and real-world footage to practice with and take your skill to the next level. So over here we have our captions on our subtitle track. So if we want to animate this captions right now, what we need to do is convert this into an actual title not a caption. Now, in order to do that, we need to export this caption out as a subtitle file, which is an SRT file. So if you want to export the subtitle file out, we go over to File and then Export. And under Export, we can see we can export the subtitle. So if we click on Subtitle, it's going to immediately spit out a subtitle file that we can save on our computer. So I'm just going to save this as DaVinci Caption 1. I'm going to save it. Now, the next step is actually converting that saved subtitle file into a text title that we can actually animate or apply effects to. And we can do that with the help of this website called editingtools.io. So if you go over to editingtools.io and go over to Converters, there is a subtitle tool and converter right here. Or more specifically, editingtools.io/subtitles. Now we can go ahead and load up our subtitle file. And we want to tell this converter that we want to convert this from a subtitle file into a Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve title. So if I just click on that, it's going to give you a little message here. No worries about that because this is a Final Cut Pro XML, but it works to make them titles in DaVinci Resolve. I'm just going to go ahead and click Generate, and it's immediately going to spit out a file that we can download. I'm going to save that file and then go back to DaVinci Resolve. Now that we're in DaVinci Resolve, we want to import that file that we converted from SRT to Final Cut Pro XML, which is going to help us get DaVinci Resolve titles. So if we go over to File and then Import, now we can import that XML as a timeline. I'm going to go ahead and select our edited XML, and I'm just going to import. This is going to create a new timeline with our titles in it. So it's pretty much asking us for the timeline settings, but I'm just going to say OK. Now, as you can see over here, we have these as text titles on a video track, not a subtitle track anymore. So what we can do is select these titles, go ahead and copy them by pressing Ctrl+C, and then going back to our timeline. So if I go over to timeline and I go over to our main timeline, I'm just going to move these subtitles up right now. And then I'm going to press Ctrl+V to paste. And now we basically pasted our subtitles as a text title on a video track. I'm going to go ahead and disable our subtitle track. So we just have the one that we can animate. Now, because this is a text title, we can pretty much just select everything and adjust the overall looks. So I'm just going to change this over to Montserrat, but I actually type in out Montserrat, and I'm going to select Montserrat right here and select bold italic. And now I can change the size up a little bit. And now we can also change the position. So there's a position property right here, again, because this is a text title. I'm going to move this down a little bit, and then I'm going to change the color over to this one right here. And if I click off, we can see that it applied that same property for everything. Now, just like our text plus title, if we want to animate this, we can go ahead and apply keyframes. So I'm just going to click on one of them, go over to the settings tab, and over here on the settings tab, I'm just going to add a little keyframe for position. And then I'm going to go over to the beginning, then just move the position outside. And as we can see, that text is going to animate from outside the screen to inside the screen. So now that we have an animation on one of the titles, I'm just going to click on it, press Ctrl+C to copy, and then I'm going to make a selection of the rest titles, right click on them, click on Paste Attributes. And in this case, we animated position. So I'm just going to uncheck Zoom and click on Position and then Apply. And as we can see right now, every position property is applied. If it's a little bit confusing about what property you animated, you can pretty much just go into Paste Attributes and check everything right there. So if I just click on this, it's going to check everything and it's going to make sure that it is the same as the previous title. But it does help to know the particular property that you're pasting. All right, so here are some other options that are really popular among DaVinci Resolve users. First, we have Snap Captions, which is probably the most popular one. Snap Captions kind of have like two versions. We have the older one, which is basically free, and it helps to convert subtitle tracks into text plus tracks. There's also the newer Snap Captions, which has a lot of stuff like word-by-word animations and stuff like that, but it is paid on a subscription basis or a one-time lifetime payment. Now, if you're using DaVinci Resolve Studio, which has the ability to generate subtitles from audio, it's going to be really easy. But if you're on the free version, it can be a little bit tricky to work with, as the creator Orson Lord explained on his YouTube channel. Another solid option available is AutoCut, and they make plugins for DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro, and they have a suite of features. One of them is Captions, and the AutoCut plugin does have the ability to make animated subtitles in DaVinci Resolve. Again, there are a lot of Captions advancement in the newer versions of DaVinci, so feel free to check that out starting from DaVinci Resolve 20. All right, guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.